Hi guys! In today's video, I'm going to be fixing 1-year-old glitter slime slimes, and I'm really excited to show you them. First up, we have Cucumber Spritzer, and this is a white glue base, so I really did not expect this to activate at all. I was so impressed because even though I had to add loads of borax, probably a whole cup worth, when the slime was finally ready, it was so thick, so glossy, and literally looked as good as new. It was full right to the top. I think this is just because it didn't contain any like shaving foam or anything that deflated, but it looked as good as new. It was so crunchy, and it was so clean still. I always find that white glue slimes always pick up stuff, but this inflated loads, it smelled amazing and was just fab. Cherry Italian Icy really confused me. I didn't really like this slime when I got it, so I didn't play with it at all. I haven't reactivated it, and it's just not sticky. It's so much nicer than when it first arrived. I don't know if it's because it dried up. I just found that it didn't stick to me at all. It was only slightly sticky if I like stuck my hands, and then took ages to pull it out. So I added a tiny bit more activator, but I actually found that this ruined the slime. It made it feel so wet and exactly how it first like arrived when I didn't particularly like it. So I decided to add some more shaving foam just to kind of get it into a nicer texture, less residue, and also a bit thicker, and it became just like a butter slime. It was so airy, so thick. It definitely like decreased the color a bit, but it increased the size, made it so much more fun to play with. And the scent for this also smells amazing. It smells so good, just like when it first arrived. Strawberry Cream Cheese is one of her all-time bestsellers, and I remember being so excited to get this. It looked absolutely amazing in the videos, and it was just as amazing in real life. So I was so excited to see how this held up because it's predominantly clay-based. And I found that the clay base on the top stayed really, it didn't like go hard, but it stayed really tough. So it wasn't hugely sticky when I stuck my hands in, but it definitely had a sticky layer on the bottom. And I tried to stir it. It didn't work because of all the clay. You just need to go with your hands immediately with this. And I found that this actually got really soft. I was worried that this wouldn't go airy, so I played with it for ages, and I was so glad to see that it trapped loads of air in. But at first it just looks like it's going to be like a Model Magic type slime, but then it turns amazing. It still inflates so much and smells so fresh. I think this is the most impressive thing about her slimes. I find that so many slimes go off and kind of smell really bad, but hers just stayed amazingly scented, and it's so impressive. I messed up so bad with Hot Fudge Sundae. So as you can see, it has a really cool layer in it. I think the top's like Daiso, it's really airy, and then underneath there's loads of glue. I think this is the slime with most glue apart from Cucumber Spritzer that she sent me. And I was just like, this is gonna need loads of activator, and this is the first one I actually reactivated, but I added way too much, and obviously because I had the clay in, it makes it a lot tougher, so this didn't stretch at all, but this is completely my fault. The color stayed the same and the scent stayed the same. It was an amazing slime, it was just that I messed it up. Another huge bestseller for her is her Apple Laffy Taffy, and this is a clay-based one as well. It has a clay layer on top, but loads and loads of glue underneath, so I knew this was going to be really sticky. And the one thing that really impressed me was this is just as bright as it was before. It was really easy to stir as well because there was loads of glue in it, and I added a tiny bit of borax this time, and it created such a nice mixture. It did need a lot more borax than I thought it would because it has the clay in there, but I guess because it's maybe like Daiso, it just gets like a bit softer. The one thing I did notice with this is even though the color and the scent stayed the same and it was still really thick, it lost a lot of its gloss. It was really glossy before, and it was really clicky as well, but now it was mostly like a clay base, and I let this sit for like 3 days to see it would gloss up, and it didn't gloss up. So it's still really nice and still really glossy, but just not as glossy as the new one. And this is the first slime of hers that kind of changed a bit, but I still really like it. Something that I love about looking at the old slime is all of the ingredients split up. So I did not know this had so much clay in it, but as you can see, this is 90% clay. So when I was pushing my hands in there, it really wasn't sticky, and there was a sticky layer at the bottom. So I think there's a tiny bit of slime, but this is mostly clay, which is super interesting. It doesn't feel like it's entirely clay, and this didn't take much activator at all to fix, and it became so thick, as good as new, inflates so much, and it smells just as good as it was in the beginning. Cake batter ice cream was another one that really surprised me because I thought this was made basically of all clay, but there's so much slime in here. There's a really thin layer of clay actually, but as you can see, the slime underneath is kind of bumpy, which makes me think there's a drying agent in there, kind of like cornstarch or something else to give it that texture. But then it goes back to exactly how you think it is, really clay-like. As you can see, it's so confusing to see how it's kind of like mixed up to how it comes out. I did find that this was a lot more flimsy than it was originally. This is a lot softer, which I don't personally mind. But I think it's a different clay to what she normally uses, just because I feel like it melted down maybe, because it just wasn't thick at all, but it still smells nice, it's still fun to play with, it just is a completely different slime in terms of texture. So the last one was a berry slime smoothie, and this was one that she like purchased loads of clear slimes from different shops, mixed them up into a slime smoothie, and then sold them for a reduced price. And she also added some glitters in there, but the smell for this was so bad. This was originally purple as well, and it turned into this like green, so I don't know if it like molded, like one of the slimes she bought molded, but obviously this isn't her slime, so you can't blame her for that. But thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you very soon.